Hello, this is Brian. Today is Tuesday, May 9th, 2023, and I'm here for the third week in a row at Cuyamaca Rancho State Park. I am near the day use area for the old Stonewall Mine. And I'm in an area that was relatively protected from the cedar fire. So we got some pretty nice Jeffrey pine growth here, black oak. This is kind of a little look into what the majority of this park looked like. An acorn woodpecker. There's a bunch of acorn woodpeckers around here. They're just everywhere. You can hear them knocking their beaks into the wood. You can hear them doing the little screechy calls. So this is kind of what a much larger portion of this park used to look like before the cedar fire. That's beautiful over here. Very nicely forested. I can see Cuyamaca Lake just over that way, over yonder. Very nice. We're supposed to be near where the Marty Minshaw Trail picks up too. Oh, here's a road right here. Let me see. Right now I'm just kind of doing some poking around. Never really spent time over here before, so this is kind of new. There's a nice girthy Jeffrey pine right here. Well, maybe there's some signs over there, maybe. That's a pretty nice girthy tree. I saw a sign for the Minshaw Trail around here. Very interesting. There we go, there's that Jeffrey pine right there. I don't think there's any trail over here. You can see the reservoir right down there. This must be a storage site or something. I'm gonna go back up. I'm not even sure what this is over here. Yeah, take a look around and see what else I can find. Okay, so that's where I came from originally, and then I curved around there where all that equipment was. Here's where the trail is. I'm just gonna take a short walk and see. delightfully cool day here. Last week's weather was nice and crisp. Actually, with a little bit of a chill in the air part of the day. This week it's nice and cool. Alright. I was thinking about maybe heading up to Stonewall Peak, maybe even Little Stonewall. Oh, let's see. Here's a Marty Minshaw trail to California Riding and Hiking Trail and Soapstone. Don't know much about that. We'll go head down here. It's very beautifully forested here. There's even a little picnic site over here. There's part of Cuyamaca Lake right there. It's a very beautiful thickets of Western chokecherry, all lining up this area. Beautiful thickets of it. Prunus virginiana variety demissa. Some more buttercups. These are like a little oak tree, a little black oak here. Yeah, we're right above Cuyamaca Lake, right above it. That's beautiful over here, I'll tell you. California ground squirrel right there. Otospermophilus beachy. Just kind of foraging around. Yeah, lots of little buttercups around here. I think these might be the Western Buttercups. I think these might be Ranunculus occidentalis variety occidentalis. I know last week I saw some buttercups over below Middle and Cuyamaca Peak, and those I originally assumed they were California buttercups, but I think those are Western buttercups. I think the California buttercups have more petals than the Western buttercups. Here's what used to be a humongous old black oak tree. Used to be a big black oak. Oh, we're taking a short detour through this little section here in the Marty Minshaw. There's some pretty tall Jeffrey pines here. Not even very old ones either. This is a good old Marty Minshaw trail. I'll just take a short portion of this. I don't know, maybe these are California buttercups. I know there are a few different species of buttercups. California and Western, I think, are the most similar. Let's go see. Let's go take a little walk down this portions of the Marty Minshaw trail. Very beautiful over here. I haven't really poked around much in this part here. imagine what this area looks like in fall. It was so close to the lake too. Probably, I would assume this portion here is probably more ephemeral. I know parts of this lake are much more ephemeral. And you got some plants that I am definitely not familiar with. So my backpack's in the car because this wasn't going to be my main hike. I was going to kind of scout out the area, see if I could find a way to get to Stonewall Peak from here, from near Stonewall Mine. But I don't know. I might just go back by the typical Paso Picacho area, by the campground. All right. Here's part of the lake right here. North Peak looming right above us. So I say we're about 4,670 feet above sea level here. The lake's about 4,650. We're close to that. The lake's higher this year, obviously, because of the copious storm action we had this season. Wow, look at this. These oaks are all vibrant green now. It's springtime here in the mountains. Alright, I'm going to get a picture or two. Then we'll keep this going. Some more acorn woodpeckers. Right up in the trees. All right. Yeah, this is pretty neat. This was a huge black oak. It's a pretty tall one. It still has a pretty good trunk on it. But it looks like a huge portion of it broke off during the storms this year. That's a pretty decent sized oak. Of course, we've got a lot of younger oak thickets here too. Lots of young ones. Appears that black oaks get pretty busy over here. And the beautiful Jeffrey pines, of course. Man, these are beautiful trees too. Gosh. While these are not old trees, they're definitely quite vigorous and fairly tall too. Those are some pretty tall trees, especially for how young they are. They're all pretty thin stems, so that means they're very young, but it kind of gives you an idea. Some of these Jeffrey pines, some of the older ones that used to be here, were probably enormous. And I've seen some pretty big ones here. Here's something weird. The water level's so high that it actually has inundated the bases of all these young Jeffrey pine saplings here. And it's really not a good position for for pines to be in, to be inundated. They do not like being inundated like that. So, it should be interesting. And here's a nice big Quercus kelloggi right here. Here's a nice big black oak. The base of it's not extremely huge, but it's a very tall one. This is a little more characteristic of what they look like in forest as opposed to woodland. A lot of times when they're in woodland, they're shorter statured and they got these wide, huge bases. But this is more representative of what you'd expect to see in a forest situation. Tall trunk, branches not till very far above the ground, and very taller height, much taller in forest situations, because they have to compete with these Jeffrey pines for light. And there's a pretty tall smaller trunk black oak. So this is probably a younger tree. So these ones have to grow tall to compete with these pines, which are normally much taller trees. Wow, this is absolutely gorgeous over here. Get some great lake views from here. This is awesome. I love this. This is absolutely breathtaking over here. And we still got some of the pastel colors of the newer leaves on some of these younger oaks. Yeah, that's a pretty tall black oak. This is really neat. Yeah, I don't see any ponderosas here. It's all Jeffrey pine here. Unless there are any coulter. I haven't seen any coulters over here either. I see this is another pretty tall black oak. Pretty cool over here. All right, catch you on the next clip. I think that might be Fletcher Island over there. I've been curious about that one. I think I'm gonna go visit. I think I'm gonna go over there and check it out. There's a bridge over here. I think that's Fletcher Island. I'm gonna go take a look and maybe work my way. There's supposed to be, I think, a peak called Fletcher Island High Point. It's supposed to be barely any elevation to it. But a hill is a hill, a summit is a summit, and a peak is a peak. So I'm not going to complain about it. I'm going to enjoy it. All right. Oh yeah. Never mind. I guess not. Guess you got to go pay to go to the lake. Yeah, the lake is not, I repeat, not part of Cuyamaca Rancho State Park. So to go over there, you gotta, I guess, pay the fees to get into, I guess there are a couple different agencies that own the land around Cuyamaca Lake. So, yeah, maybe another time. So yeah, that's definitely owned by a different agency. It's Cuyamaca Lake is not a part of Cuyamaca Rancho State Park. Some of these trees are pretty nice and hefty looking. Oh, horse trail to Stonewall Mine. This will take me back to where I was parked, I think. So is this, what does this say here? Oh, Marty Minshaw to Los Caballos. I've been on parts of the Marty Minshaw Trail before. But one thing I've noticed, ever since coming here to Cuyamaca, I've been noticing a lot of woodland strawberries. These are absolutely gorgeous plants. Fragariam vesca. These are absolutely beautiful. Beautiful perennials. Absolutely gorgeous. So So I guess I'll go take this trail here. This should take me back to the area where I'm parked. This will be a short hike, I guess. Very beautiful trail, I'll tell you that. Must be a field trip. There's an older gentleman with a bunch of some kids. Must be on a field trip or something. It's definitely a place to have a field trip. Nice old black oak right here. There's been some very large oaks here. Some of these old black oaks were huge. So the acorn woodpeckers are absolutely going bonkers today. Oh, it's Western chokecherry too. And all this common snowberry too. Well, hopefully these acorn woodpeckers will have lots of black oak acorns to keep them happy this fall. I'm pretty sure they enjoy the Jeffrey pine seeds too, I would imagine. These birds are going crazy. Yeah, they're all posted up in this Jeffrey pine right now. And the neighboring oaks, of course. Oh, wow, this is fun. Look at that. Oh, they're just going buck wild right now. Oh, this is crazy. I love it. I love it. Whoa. These are some very energetic, very passionate birds. Wow. This is what we call Melanerpes formicivorus. It's fun just watching them go crazy, flitting back and forth between branches. This is insane. Oh, it's so fun to watch that. I believe our Melanerpes formicivorus, the acorn woodpecker, I believe that was the bird that was the inspiration behind Woody Woodpecker. The old Woody Woodpecker cartoons. Because they're such raucous and loud. They're just such fun sounding birds. They're just so fun to listen to as well. Here's on the trunks of these Jeffrey pines. They're all riddled with acorn woodpecker cache holes, where they will poke holes in the trunks and to put acorns and other fat seeds in them. pretty fun. All right, I'll see you up the way. Still ambling along. Yes, I don't think, yeah, this is a different trail. It says, when I entered this trail, it said horse trail. So this is an equestrian use trail as well. Quite a few ground squirrels out today. This is an absolutely breathtakingly beautiful area. Nice Jeffrey pines. Like I said, most of these are pretty young trees, relatively speaking. Not a lot of super old growth here, but definitely pre-cedar fire. So it's nice to see some adult trees relatively unaffected. We gotta admit, it's absolutely gorgeous over here. Maybe next time I'm in the area, maybe I'll go over to whatever park that is. I know there's a Chambers Park, and there's something else, like it's a bait and tackle area. And I was telling you about those acorn woodpecker holes. You can see they stash a lot of acorns in the trunks of these trees. Oak or pine, doesn't matter. They don't care. They can get their bills in there to make a little hole, they're going to stuff acorns in there. I don't know if the squirrels are really able to get those out. There's Stonewall. I was maybe planning on going over there. Alright, so we're kind of at a junction here of trails. Let me see. There's an interpretive sign about the birds here. Meadowlark, acorn woodpecker. Alright, so yeah, I was thinking about trying to make the connection to maybe hit Little Stonewall and Stonewall. Like a beautiful meadowland and marsh down there. So yeah, I'd have to find out which way to go to get over there. I mean, if I were to go over to Paso Picacho, you just cross the highway and there you are, you're good to go. But look at that. You can see this area sometimes gets flooded out too. So it's probably an ephemeral pool site over there. Alright, let's get back on this trail here. Yeah, not that far. Not that far from the Stonewall Mine. It's not that far from where I parked. Very peaceful. That's why sometimes visiting these places on weekdays is a better idea, I think. How beautiful this is. There's a pretty old Jeffrey pine down there. And that's where I hiked last week. Well, Middle Peak's over there. Then I did Cuyamaca Peak. I can see the Lookout Fire Road as it winds its way up there. I was on the Conejos Trail, which kind of zigzagged a little bit up under Cherry Flat over there. Met up with the firewood underneath the peak. That was a really good hike. That was a really, really good hike. Really thoroughly 100% enjoyed that one. I mean, that's a hike I totally highly recommend. If you can squeeze in a nice 11-mile hike. I made a double loop out of that, and it was an awesome hike. All right. Well, one last shot here before I continue making my way up. A nice, respectable, beautiful black oak right there. All right, here we go. There's like an old artifact from the mine. I do think history is interesting. I'm not a history buff per se, but it is interesting to learn about some of these things. Ooh, some type of lotus, acmispon species. Of course, you know, my mind's going back and forth, zigzagging between all the nice features of this area. This is a very beautiful trail. I can see we're parked down there already. So yeah, I'm not a history buff per se, but it is interesting. I know there was mining around here in the 1870s, about 150 years ago. There was definitely.
How goes it?
Good, how you doing? Go for it.
You see a bunch of kids walk by about a while ago, did you?
With an older guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was about 20 minutes ago.
A while ago?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm good.
You too. Alright, what do we got here? Ooh, Birch Leaf Mountain Mahogany. This was a nice little short hike. And back to where I was parked. Let's see if there's a way I can see if I can make the connection to get to Stonewall Peak from here. Alright. There's where I'm parked. Right by the Stonewall Mine area. Very beautiful here, I'll tell you that. So, I guess I'll probably look around and poke around for a few minutes and see. I was going to do it for this video, per se. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on another one.